Hello YouTube, it is Championdjk coming at you again with another video, and today we've got some M2 machines to look at. Mainly the point of this video is to look at the new Buick Grand National casting, or the Buick Regal casting. So we are going to look at that, of course, and check that out. But before we get to that, and I got two different versions of it here. I got a Mio exclusive version in black to set up as kind of like a drag racing car almost. And then we've got this one that's more of like a standard 87 Buick. So we got those two back there. We're going to open up those two last. I just got a couple of other M2s that I had picked up recently that I figured we might as well take a look at as well. Starting with this thing, the 1932 Ford Roadster. So I snagged this just because I thought it was kind of a cool casting, and it was in basic, like there's no, Coca-Cola or anything on it. So I'm like, oh, I'll get that. I'll check it out. Limited to 9,000 pieces worldwide. Ooh, what the heck? Oh, they tape them on the bottom too now? That basically just wrecked the box. Oh, let's go ahead, which is fine. I generally don't. Sometimes I keep the M2s and keep these boxes, and that's how I store them, and sometimes not. They take up a little bit of space. But I guess it works to keep the car somewhat protected. Although they don't always do a great job keeping it protected, because you see some that are destroyed at Walmart. But that's Walmart for you, I guess. All right, so these are held down by two screws in this, which is somewhat annoying. I wish they did a peg and a screw. That one is way... That setup is way better, and I don't know why they don't. You'd think they would, because holding it down with just one screw, I would think would be maybe a cost savings, and probably not much at all, but but still. And then it also, I think, would be more convenient for the collector to have it that way as well. I'm going to move my light back here just a little bit. Adjustment. And check this thing out. I've actually gotten a few M2 pieces this year, more than I have in years past, because I've been seeing some stuff come out by them that I've been very interested in or thought looked really cool. And actually, I really like this, believe it or not. It's, you got some good engine detail there, pretty good detail all around. I think this is pretty neat. Like when they put out like the basic cars, I'm glad they don't put out a ton of stuff that I like, because that's the last thing I need is a whole other brand to like really start collecting. But when they do put out stuff that's cool and it comes in like basic kind of clean, factory kind of color stuff, nothing too crazy, no Sprite or Coca-Cola or Fanta or whatever, or any of that. Then I can be tempted into getting it, and I think this casting is actually quite nice. Little 32 Ford. So that is pretty cool. I am digging it. Looks like there's two holes there. That's for probably a top. I'm sure there's some of these that come with the top on. And it rolls like ultra smooth. I don't think I've ever had an M2 roll this smooth. So that is pretty awesome, actually. I actually really like this. I'm glad I picked this up. So it's just something different, right? I'm not going to find this in Auto World. I'm not going to... Well, you might be able to find a Johnny Lightning that's a 32 Ford. They do one. They might have. But you know what I mean? Like, there's just not any other really option for this. And that's when M2 comes in with some pretty cool stuff, actually, sometimes. And I've knocked M2 several times for some of their castings. And some of them are truly bad. And they've had some quality issues in the past that I don't think are quite behind them, but when I'm looking now, it seems I'm finding more high quality or more cars that are like fully intact than I used to. So I think there's definitely been some improvement. There has to have been. All right, then we got another one that's pretty neat. This is the Chevy van, Beauville 10. Now, I did already buy this casting. I bought it in Coca-Cola livery because I actually thought that looked cool. And I don't have that out to show you today. This one is taped on both sides. So go ahead and open that up. And I thought this casting was pretty nice. I just wanted one in a basic, clean, you know, factory kind of paint thing, not Coca-Cola. So I had to pick up this one when I saw it. Pretty nice looking van. So go ahead and unscrew that. Take a peek at this now. Tires on a little wonky. That's easily fixable. The wheels are a little. But that's all right. That's forgivable. The thing is rolling, and there's really no other quality concerns with it. It appears, and it's just a nice, solid casting. Nice looking van in just a plain kind of two-tone color. You got the white and the tan-ish, and I think this is pretty nice too. I mean, there's nothing to really complain about, right? It's good. We got inserted details for, you know, headlights and taillights. You know, this may not be as crazy detailed as like some ultra premium brands like, you know, like Mini GT, stuff like that, Tarmac Works. But pretty good bang for the buck, I would argue. Both of these pieces, pretty nice, pretty nice. And then I got this smoke box. This is from this one is Square Body Syndicate. I think this was like a hobby exclusive. And we're going to go ahead and cut that packaging open. And hang on here. So we'll go ahead and cut this open. This one I got from SC Diecast, my pals. And so yeah, I got it from SC Diecast. And let's check it out. They had an off-road version, I think, of this van as well. I should have picked up that one. I didn't. But this one I think I pre-ordered from them. These are limited to 6,050 pieces. So, and this is the lowered version of the van, I guess. Get the screws out so we can check it out. And again, I really wish they would just put a peg and then one screw, like the more premium brands do. That would be pretty sweet. Ooh, that would be pretty sweet. All right. That thing is definitely scraping the ground. So it appears this one. So what M2 usually does here with these is they usually have like different little insert pieces in the base that determines the ride height of the vehicle. This one, though, it is actually an entirely different tooled base because the front's just angled up like that. So they have this, and they also have a lifted version of this van, which I'll have to get a lifted one at some point to round out the collection. I got this just because I thought it looked cool, and patina, and it's dropped, lowered, and it looks kind of neat. But honestly, I prefer this one. This is just the basic one. I definitely prefer it. Both of these I'm actually somewhat impressed with, and I think that they're pretty cool. All right, so the next thing we're going to look at is this 87 Buick. And I can tell you straight away, we're going to compare it because this one, actually I've got a few versions of this. We'll just pull one or two out. Just for fun here. So these were the casting that you're looking at right now. This was either released as a Racing Champions or a Johnny Lightning. It was a casting that was been shared between the two brands. I got that one. I've got that one. As you can tell, I'm a fan of the casting. I got this one in maroon. It's pretty nice. I've got this one. I've got this one, so pretty darn cool. And then I've also got this one too. This one's definitely was released as a Racing Champions. It's like an older version of the casting, I think. and it had side mirrors. So this casting used to be tooled with, well, I don't know if it used to be tooled with holes. Maybe they just put the holes in retro, drilled them through. This one's got side mirrors, and the Racing Champions one feels super cheap. The metal just feels cheap. Everything about it feels just bleh, not great. But this thing is still a pretty cool model, and I'm glad to have it. These better two out here, I can't remember now. This one I think was released as a Racing Champs, and this one was released as a Johnny Lightning. So you can see it's the same tooling though, effectively, and they've released it as a Grand National. It's just a Buick Regal, all that stuff, quick V6, and this would be the Grand National. But yeah, so anyway, so we have these two. The whole point about getting this out though is just basically to tell you, hey, I'm a fan of this car. I think the car looks cool, right? So I'm a fan of the car, and then I'm also a fan of this particular casting from Racing Champion / Johnny Lightning. So this is what we're comparing the M2 to today. And am I going to like the M2 better than this casting or not? And I can almost tell by looking at right through the packaging here that I'm not going to like it quite as much. It's something with the way the wheel arches, how those look, and then how the wheels look like they're too far inset underneath the wheel arch. So let's check out this one first. We're going to start with this. This is the 1987 Buick Regal Limited. So we'll start with this one. This is limited to 9,000 pieces worldwide. Pop it out there. Set that back there. Rubber band. Screws. So this one's made with more pieces, right? It's going to have separate pieces for both bumpers. It's got side mirrors. So in that regards, there's some details there that the Johnny Lightning / Racing Champions is not going to have. Oh, and we got like a flat tire. It's okay. It's only flat on one side. And that may kind of reshape itself as it's not being pushed down on the base. So, plus this one you also get inserted headlights, right? So there's going to be some details here that are going to definitely beat this casting. However, I would argue right away, just kind of on a stance and how the car sits alone, I kind of like the Johnny Lightning a little bit better. What do you guys think? It's funny, this one says Johnny Lightning on the base, but I swear this particular version of it was released as Racing Champions Mint. Here's a look at the engine detail, too. There is some engine detail in here. It has an opening hood, which I believe we're going to get an opening hood on this one, too. It definitely opens. Nice tight fit, though, on the hood. I will tell you that right away. In fact, we may have to wait to get it open. I think this opens, right? This one has to open. Hitting it on my knee here to pop it open. There we go. And that's what we get with the M2. I don't know. That's not really that great, is it? I'm pretty sure under the hood it does not look like that, does it? With just like big metal like underneath there and then the engine in the middle. Pretty sure that's not what the... Well, I guess maybe it kind of is. There's just more detail on this one. So lots more detail underneath the hood. Not that it really matters, but there is a lot more detail underneath the hood of the Johnny Lightning / Racing Champions. But the other cool details that you will get with this particular model, though, is you are going to get inserted, taillights, right? Those look really pretty decent. And then you get inserted headlights as well. And those look actually really good. So neither of these castings is perfect. This one just has the painted headlights. The grill and bumper is a separate piece. And actually, I think the bumper on the back is also a separate piece. And then painted taillights. This one with the black bumper. There just is no perfect model. This does look pretty good, though. The more I'm looking at it, the more I kind of do like it, even though it's got a couple flat tires. It's not too bad. Looks pretty decent in white. Am I going to go out and try to get all of these? No. Shape of the car-wise, it can't be that difficult of a car to replicate, really, from the shape. And I'm not sure which one's going to be more true to 1/64 scale, because M2 isn't really true 1/64 scale a lot of the time. Some of them are bigger. The cars tend to be a little bit bigger than 1/64 at times. And then this one, Racing Champions Mint, is probably what this casting originated as. I don't think that's actually truly 1/64 scale either. So I can't really tell you, but I can tell you that they are pretty much the same size. I mean, they're pretty much the same length. The M2 is a little bit wider, and I do not know which one is more accurate. All right, so that being said, let's go ahead and let's open up this last one. This is an Mio exclusive. Got to get the scissors out here. Clearly has an opening hood. The hood is open in the package there. And this one is limited to 5,500 pieces. Go ahead and cut that open. So this one, we've got some fat meats in the back. This thing's ready to go drag racing, so that's kind of a cool touch. So again, you got your same old acrylic case that you expect from M2 Machines. And we'll go ahead and get the screws out here. This is the Buick Grand National Custom. So under the hood again, the smooth painted metal right there, just not very detailed, right? Hood shuts though nice, and that's really all I would care about, is does that hood actually shut nice. We got skinnies in the front, and we got flat tires again. So this one is completely flat up here, deformed. Again, that will probably reform itself maybe as it sits for a while. Only in the one side do we have it. There's a flat spot, it looks like, on the drag tire as well. This one has a... Not expecting that. This one has a plastic base, it feels like. Yeah, that's plastic. This one, oh, this is plastic too. Yeah, I didn't even notice that. These are both plastic-based cars. Not that it matters. This one's metal, right? This is metal. The bottom of this car is plastic. That's kind of interesting. I wonder if this is going to show up in like the carded line from M2, the little cheaper line from M2. Maybe with a hood actually just tooled shut. But I don't know. It looks pretty good. It's not bad, right? It's just got the something with the wheels kind of being set in a little bit too far, like especially when you look at it like an angle like that. I mean, I'm making it look worse just by doing this, but that's my only real gripe with this, is I think they should have made... They probably had to make this so they could fit different size wheels. But, like, in that case, it might have been a good idea to get, like, spacers or something in there so that you could make these axles longer and that the wheel would actually be pushed out to where it's, like, supposed to be. So that would be my one, I guess, feedback on this casting. Do I think it's cool? Yeah, I think it's cool. Am I going to keep these two? For sure. But if I'm honest, I kind of still like the way this one looks better. You guys let me know in the comments. The only real edge where I can say that this is better is the way the headlights in front, like that front grille and headlight combo. The headlights being like an inserted piece, I think is really nice. And you do not get that with this model. The taillights painted on there, they look fine. Put on here, they look great too. So no issues there. Stance-wise, I think the Johnny Lightning / Racing Champions looks better. And from a perspective of having the headlights and taillights actually a separate piece, I think the M2 definitely has the edge. These are definitely lighter weight. than these. I don't know. But honestly, the highlight of the show today for me is actually this little 32 Ford. I think this thing's super cool. All right, well, that's it. I just wanted to show you guys the new Grand National casting, or Buick Regal casting from M2 Machines. I thought it'd be a fun one to look at. Plus, it gave me an excuse to kind of just get out and revisit all of these that I had and kind of check on them, see what I was missing, all that good stuff, because I do kind of collect the casting. So, all right, anyway, thank you guys very much for watching another video. Hopefully you enjoyed this, and, you know, check out the, do I have an M2 playlist? I think I do. Yeah, if I do, I'll put this in there, and you guys can check that out if you want to see more M2 Machines content. All right, thank you guys. Have a good day.